Okay, the very first thing you're going to want to do for assignment 4B is find a landscape photograph. It can be a photograph that you chose. When you find online, it doesn't really matter. So what you're going to want to do is copy the photograph, come here, make sure you have your select tool chosen, do paste. Okay, so there's my photograph. Because this is landscape oriented, which means that it is wider than it is tall, I'm going to rotate my canvas by going to File, Document Properties, click on Landscape, click on the X. Okay? Then you are going to want to come and place your photograph over the canvas and resize it. If your photograph is more like this, like it's way longer than it is tall, you can actually still make your, you'll just have to resize your canvas to be that shape. And again, you'll go to File and then Document Properties. And then you can even do Fit Page to Selection. And that will fit the canvas exactly to the photograph. Okay? But I do not need to do that right now. So I'm going to get rid of that rectangle example. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to get that right where I want it to be. Zoom in a little bit. There we go. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is add a layer. So my photograph is on my background. So I'm going to change that to photo background. And then I'm going to add a layer, and I'm going to call that painting. Of course, you can call it whatever you like. First, I'm going to lock the photo background, and so you can't move the photograph by accident. And then make sure that the painting layer is selected and it's unlocked. Okay, and as the directions tell you, you're going to use the calligraphy tool. Okay, you can practice your lines over here. There we've got kind of a thin line. Here's the dip pen. But it is showing a stroke with no fill. So I'm going to go to Object, Fill and Stroke. I do not want a stroke, but I do want a fill. So, and this is how we're going to choose our colors. Okay. So you can also choose the width. There's a very wide one. Okay. There's lots of different things that you can choose. Okay, so you can play with all of these and see what you like best. Okay, that changes the angle on the tip. So I do not need any of those. You can keep those to use as examples as you are creating your work, but for right now I'm just going to get rid of those. Okay, and so what I'm going to do, the idea is to make this look like an Impressionist painting. So all of your brush strokes are going to be used with the calligraphy pen. All right, so what you want to do is, let's see, if I want to start with this road, you think to yourself that road's probably gray, but if you really look at it, it's kind of more like a lavender color. So I'm going to put a mark down to bring up this fill and stroke, and I want to turn it into kind of a lavender color. Okay. And as you're changing, if you're watching, as I'm changing this over here, you can see the color changing over there. I'm going to make it a little bit lighter. Whoops, not all the way. Okay. Anyway, and it does not have to be perfect. As you may know about Impressionism, the colors are not right on. Sometimes they even use colors that you would never really think that they would use. So for now, see, I'm just going to put all these brush strokes because in Impressionist painting, you can see lots of brush strokes. Okay. And yes, I'm covering up the cat, but I can come back and fix that later. Okay. And again, it does not have to be perfect. I think I want to add a little bit. When you change this, it will change the last mark that you made. So just keep that in mind. So if you want to undo that, you can go to Edit, Set Fill Color, and turn that back. Then, let's see. I'm going to try the marker one. That is more rounded. I'm going to make it smaller. Okay. And then before you could see that there was like a little bit of darker lavender here. Okay. All right. So that's good enough for now. I'm going to start with the pink now. So I'm going to, let's see. I'm going to try that splotchy, but I'm going to make it much smaller. Oh, come on. Let's go way smaller. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to start up here, and I want that. We're going to start off with a really pale pink, and then we can use a dark pink as well. Okay, so I'm going to choose about right there. All right, and I'm just going to start kind of filling this in slowly wherever I see the pink. And then when I have big areas like this, you know, I can fill in the smaller ones. And then when I have big areas, I can really increase that and just do a couple splotches. Okay, and remember, it's okay that I'm filling in some of those branches, because when I add them back, they don't have to be perfect. All right, now I'm going to choose a little bit darker pink. Oops. And I'm going to start filling it in there. And yes, it is. It's definitely too dark for what I'm going for, so I can just come back in and add, you know, some other different colors. Keep in mind, does not have to be perfect. Okay. Then I'm gonna, you know, when this is all said and done, you guys will fill all of this up with paint. So if I go click on that photo background down here in layers, click off the eye, you can see I'm making some progress, but I still have a ways to go. I want to fill all that up. Okay, so then you will, let's see, I'm going to try the brush. That is way too big. That looks about right. So what I'm going to do now is try to get a dark color for this front branch right here. And as you go backwards, you can see they get lighter. And probably from all that pink in there, it's kind of turned like a kind of a lavendery pinkish color back there. But for right up here, it's really dark. Okay, so I'm just going to start kind of filling that in a little bit. Okay, and anywhere that I see that's really dark, this one here, and again, it's okay that it's not perfect. For the ones back here, I want to use an even thinner brush, maybe even a little bit thinner, and I'm going to turn it a little bit different, kind of a weird color that you see there. Let's see. Let's try that one. Oops. Okay, so that's good enough for now. It is definitely not perfect, as you can see, but that's okay. Remember, the Impressionists use kind of some weird colors. Now, if I don't want that sign in there, it's my artwork. I don't have to put that in there, okay? So, yep, I'm just filling these in, and then if you want, you can go back and use even more colors for the branches. Ideally, again, I would want all this filled in here, so I can even take the picture out if it's too much for my eyes. One sneaky way that you can fill this all in, I do want to see it mostly paintbrushes, lots and lots and lots of paintbrushes, but you can come back to layers. Here, let me get rid of this for a minute. So I can add another layer, and I'm going to call this background color. Add. And what I'm going to do is actually take that background color and I'm going to click. Oh, I guess I can't click and drag. So I'm going to put it all the way at the bottom by clicking on that arrow right there. So it's all the way at the bottom. There we go. Okay. And just kind of like we did with our still life, I am going to make a background. Obviously, this is not the color I would want. You want it something that you feel really goes, actually, that looks kind of cool. But you're going to want something that's, I don't know, you think suits your picture. I'm going to make mine kind of a really pale turquoisey color. Okay, and so then I can put that photo back in. Okay, and then I'm going to want to continue adding all this stuff in here. Okay, so I paused the recording while I finished up the drawing, just so you guys didn't have to sit through that, but I just wanted you to see kind of the end results of that. So keep in mind that it does not have to be perfect. Impressionism is not perfect at all. So if we close, so the photo is still in the background. If we turn that off, remember I added that kind of turquoise background in the back. Okay. Also, if I unlock that, unlock both the layers, and make sure I've got that selected, I can actually remove the photo as well and kind of set it next to it. I did forget to add in the black cat, but I can, certainly add that in later. So let's take a look at what the final thing will look like without all this markings all over it. Okay, so I just took the whole painting and put it on a black background so you can see the whole thing. Again, it's just a bunch of scribbly lines, but that is pretty much what Impressionism is. You just get the impression of the image. And then also, I tried it with a dark background as well. So all I did was take that turquoise rectangle and change the color around until I found something new. And that's that. So at the very end, you're going to have a bunch of scribbles that are going to look like your landscape. All right, thanks so much for watching.